Welcome back to Just a Bet Outside. This is the Week 15 NFL recap, and we're going to look over that playoff picture after an absolutely wild week in the NFL. Holy cow. Those must have been the wildest endings of games in 1 week that I've seen in a long, long time, and we're going to talk about them. They had huge playoff implications. This is going to be a lot of fun. Here we go. First of all, we just hit 200 subscribers. That was our second goal, and we just hit it right before the recording of this video. Thank you so much to everybody. We just started this a few months ago, and to see that we hit 200 already is, it's mind-blowing. It's awesome. We are loving every minute of this. So thank you. Now, we had our first losing weekend in a long time. Luckily, it was a very, very small losing weekend, but we went 5-4, down 0.57 units, and we are now 76 and 68, plus 14.36 units on the year. So we are still looking good, but we wanted better. We'll get better. So in this video, we're going to talk about some of these wild endings, go over our bets recap page, talk about some of those games, and then we're going to dive right into the AFC and NFC playoff picture. And it is a wild ride to the end for some of these teams. So just FYI, it is Christmas week. Hope you guys all have good holidays. There's only 3 games on Christmas Day, so a lot of the games are on Saturday. Just a reminder, don't forget about that. But the 3 games on Sunday on Christmas, if you don't watch football, don't worry about it. They're freaking horrendous. I mean, they're bad. I mean, like teams like the Broncos and Cardinals are playing. It's just. Anyways, that's where we're at. Let's take a deep breath and let's talk some football. Wild ending number 1. Patriots at Raiders. I mean, it is. I have watched football for, I'm 36 years old, for 36 years. I have never seen an ending like that in my entire life. I don't know what that guy was thinking. I'm going to kick it to you, Ryan. How could you possibly throw the ball all the way back to Mac Jones back there? Please explain that to me.
I have zero idea. I mean, you're going into overtime. You can win it from the overtime, kick a field goal, all those. You have so many options in overtime. Just get to overtime in that situation. And it wasn't even just one guy that made that choice. You had 2 guys that made that choice on a Bill Belichick coached football team. I don't get it. I don't get how a coach like that, he had to have told his guys many times before, don't be dumb, don't do this. This is how we win football. And it still happened, not just once, but twice. 2 guys did it. Like, that is crazy. Like, and at all the times you see the flea flickers and the throwing it backwards and all those, it gets picked off that easy, stiff armed, and goes for a touchdown. Like,
it was so mind boggling, but also so cool with how it finished. Yeah. Like, if you take a screenshot of like before the game and say, just so you know, this is how the game's going to end. Chandler Jones is going to have the football in his hand. He's going to be looking at Mac Jones, no relation, and he's going to stiff arm him to the ground and run in for a touchdown.
Yeah.
You're like, what? How did that? What just happened? Yeah. Here's my thing. First of all, you if he did that when they're down 3, I get it. Like, you do anything to win. In a tie game, it is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And let's just say he threw it to Mac Jones and Mac Jones caught it. He's the only guy back there. What the hell is Mac Jones going to do with the ball? Are you freaking serious? Like, what is he going to do? He can't throw it forward again. I don't know if he knows that the quarterback cannot throw it forward again. It was just unbelievable. I didn't listen, but I'm assuming the guy's going to get cut because it's Bill Belichick. I would. That, by the way, could have cost them their season. They have a brutal schedule anyway, so it would be tough. But that was just, whew, baby. I don't even understand. Chandler Jones, by the way, that's his old team, the Patriots. He had a chance against his old team to catch a ball and stiff arm the quarterback and run in for a touchdown.
That thing went right to him, too. I mean, he threw a dot. I mean, it was right to Chandler Jones. He was just boom, catch it and go. It was good throw. They might need to not cut him and put him at quarterback. That was a great throw to Chandler Jones.
It was. It was mind-boggling to me. 30-24 win by the Raiders. Some playoff implications, big time for the Patriots. Raiders, they needed the win. It's been a rough. You know what I mean? It's been a rough year. So that's wild ending number 1. We're just beginning. Wild ending number 2. Cowboys Jags. Guys, the Cowboys are struggling. They should have lost to the Texans, and they just lost to the Jaguars. But that ending, his first pass that he made in overtime, off the receiver's hands into the was it a DB or linebacker?
DB.
It's the second pick of the day, I think, too, that DB. And he runs it back for pick 6, walk off. This is like a walk, but instead it's a freaking walk off pick 6. Ryan, receiver's fault or quarterback?
That has to be the receiver's fault. It did hit him in the hands. The hard part for the receiver, though, it's coming out of an awkward angle from Dak Prescott over a lineman, so you don't get a great view. It's a short throw, so that makes it more difficult. But when you're paid like the receivers are paid nowadays and it hits you in the hands with all the great catches that they're making, it's definitely got to be on the receiver's fault. Like, it hit him in the hands. That's a first down. They're moving the chains. They're staying alive. And, and then he just doinks it right off his hands. And
Yeah.
whatnot. It didn't even get like hit, nothing like that from a DB. Didn't just fell right out of his hands, kind of. Not easy catch, but very doable.
It wasn't easy. The hard thing about a receiver is if you do drop it or anything, it can pop up in the air. You're really screwed. But
yeah.
It was tough. We had the over 253.5 passing yards by Dak Prescott. He had 256 going to overtime. So I was sitting pretty. I was talking to some people on TikTok that didn't get the line until it was maybe 257.5, and it went to overtime. You're thinking he only needs 2 yards to win. But their first 2 or 3 plays, they ran the ball, and the first pass he makes was 0 yards, pick 6, game over, and you lose your bet. Sometimes you got to get lines early, but that's just crappy luck. It felt bad for him. That sucks. So, anyways, that's the deal. That game was wild, but more importantly, the Cowboys, this is the time of the year they choke. We always talk about it. Their defense gave up 503 yards to this Jaguars team. This defense is supposed to be top 3 in the league. That's what's supposed to carry them. If they're going to give up as much offense as they gave up to the Texans last year, and then turn around and give up 500 to the Jaguars, they got some problems. Van Der Esch went down. I don't know how serious that injury is. I haven't read anything about it, but only 1 sack for the Cowboys. 1 sack. That's not going to do it. That's what they rely on. Number one thing, their bread and butter. Are you worried about the Cowboys, Ryan? They're going to make the playoffs. There's no worry there, but are you worried about how they're playing?
Absolutely. I mean, they've shown it before in the playoffs. They struggle in the playoffs, whether it's Dak Prescott not playing great. And a lot of people have talked about it this year. It's going to be how far does Micah Parsons and that defense take them? And they've been struggling really bad. So you nailed it. You can't give up 500 yards to the Jags. I get it. Trevor Lawrence can get hot and be good, but 500 yards, that's a lot for an elite defense. So, yeah, struggling big time. I don't see him getting hot.
No, Trevor Lawrence, congrats. You are becoming a star. You are not a superstar yet, but you are playing much better. Doug Peterson's been huge for him. Good for the Jags. Fun little team to watch. They're right in the thick of the playoff hunt. It's mind-boggling to say that, but they're in it. So, good win by the Jags.
Lawrence needs to get more consistent. Like, he has these games, and then he throws out a clunker that's like, gosh, you're so close. Like, come on.
Yep. I agree. Remember, he's also dealing with like Christian Kirk and Zay Jones are like his top receivers. Yeah. Not saying that they're not bad receivers by any means, but I mean, they're number 2, number 3 type guys that are really good. You know what I mean? I don't know. He's making it work, but I know what you mean. It's also first year head coach. I mean, it's not Peterson's first year, but them together. Yeah. And he's only a second year quarterback. So we'll see. Third game. I don't even know what to say about this because I am freaking livid. And I don't care a lick about any of these teams, but the Giants at Commanders on Sunday Night Football. There were so many freaking issues with this ending of the game. And here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to take a deep breath before I start going off a little bit. First of all, on the touchdown, which could have been the game-tying touchdown to go into overtime if they get a 2-point conversion, McLaurin was called for lining up wrong. Lining up off the line, right? He looked at the ref twice, I believe he's told me, right? Twice, yep, right?
Twice.
I saw once. It was twice. To make sure that he was lined up properly. And the ref just kind of points, and that's about it. He doesn't say no. He doesn't do anything. And before the ball snapped, you see the ref with the hand in his pocket on the flag, like he's just waiting to throw it. Like he didn't want to help McLaurin out. He didn't want to do anything. He was just excited. It was like he was a cop who needed one more speeding ticket to hit his quota. And he's like, I gotta throw one more flag or I'm fired. And he did it. And it was so freaking stupid. And that's not it. Okay. That ruined the game. They had another chance. Then they throw it into the end zone on 4th and goal. It was the biggest, most obvious pass interference other than that Rams-Saints playoff game. It was the most obvious pass interference I've seen. I mean, he was holding him before the ball was even thrown. he had his arms around him before the ball even got to him. That is called 100% of the time. So hold on. You're going to be ticky-tack on the call about being a little off the line of scrimmage, but then you're just going to let him play the next play. You can't go one or the other. It doesn't make any sense. That was horrendous. The Commanders got screwed. Yes, they had other chances to win. It's never on one play, but they got screwed. The Giants got lucky. It was obvious, but here's my one thing before I kick it to you, Ryan. I know I'm not letting you talk right now, but here's my thing. Why in God's green earth are we still not reviewing something like this? Let's just say the last 2 minutes of the game can be reviewed. Anything can be. What's the problem? Like, do you want a game? I know you don't want to slow it down. Let's just say pass interference only. That's the biggest, most obvious, like, is it a call? You know what I mean? It's objective. People make their own decision. Just allow that to be reviewed. They're huge plays, pass interference. I don't understand it. You have something to say. I'm done. Freaking A, go.
So with the reviewing, I think it's a lot easier to call the penalty in slow motion and not in real time. And did he turn him? Did he not turn him? Slow motion kind of changes that a little bit. So I think that's one. Also, it slows the game down. I mean, you already talked about it. You already said it. So
it doesn't. No. It doesn't matter when you're already 2 minutes left. I'm not saying the whole game. I'm saying 2 minutes left. You have to get the play right. Like that you just have to do it, right?
I think it's more so the slowing it down because of the video, looking at it deep, and it just kind of just throws off the judgment of how much the play got affected. Or maybe it doesn't, it gives you the right call, but then it's just going to get called so much that they can't do it. I can't see them doing it before a play like that. You're absolutely right. It needs to. The worst part is, I think, like, second quarter, first quarter, Collinsworth was already like a ref is in charge of like each wide receiver, each eligible wide receiver, and it was like a ticky-tack holding or penalty. So he's like, that's going to get called 100 out of 100 times. And then that happens at the end of the game. I get it. Sometimes you got to let him play at the end, but not like that, especially if you have a ref designated to this eligible wide receiver and he's getting molested. I mean, just held PI, all of it. Terrible.
Like a hand check or something. Like, I get it. Like, let them play. They're kind of bumping into each other. When you're kind of hugging, you got your arms around him, and he's struggling to get the ball because of it. You have to call it. How do you compare like a ticky-tack pass interference to like calling a foul at the end of an NBA game and a tie game? You know what I mean? Like, because NBA refs always let them play. Like, they call hand checks all game long, and then you go to the rim and you get tackled. Nope, nothing. I mean, is that what they were trying to do? Just let them play? Because the play before that, the other ref did not let them play. He said, you're 6 inches off the line, even though you asked me twice. I'm throwing a flag, and I'm making sure that the Commanders don't make the playoffs. I'm just baffled.
Yeah, that was terrible. Well, the worst part, if you know you're reaching down, I know you're not going to give them a signal like, yes, you're there or whatnot. I mean, you're kind of supposed to, but if your signal, you gave a signal, you reached down, you knew what it was. Shake your head. No, you're not good. Get up, you bozo. Like, obviously, you're reaching for your flag.
Pointed to the ground, right?
Yeah, he pointed to the ground. So that's usually like the signal, like you're good or something. Maybe.
Like, say no. Like, if I'm that ref in that huge of a situation with these two teams, you at that point, you're like, I don't want to call the flag to ruin this game. Like, you yell it if you have to. No, you are not on the freaking line.
Yeah.
By the way, do you know why they make a rule? Why you have to have so many guys on the line? I actually don't. Like, why it's a rule. What the rule is.
That's an interesting one. I think it's just so that people could read who's actually supposed to come off the line of scrimmage and who is eligible to run routes and things like that. So I think it's more so that, for sure.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Seems ticky-tack.
You can't have a guard running down the field. Like, that would be weird. Like,
well, the offensive lineman I get, but I just mean like receivers if they're a little off. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems ticky-tack to me. All right. Chiefs win in overtime versus the Texans. These Texans really want to spoil someone. They just can't do it, but they really want to. They had this game in hand, and they blew it again. They had a turnover in overtime, turned into a Chiefs field goal for the game. Ryan, are we worried about the Chiefs?
I think you got to be a little bit, but come playoffs, you need a quarterback, and you got the best one in Patrick Mahomes. I know Joe Burrow's kind of threatening there with some of his skills, and maybe Josh Allen, and I don't think I could throw Hurts in there yet, but you got Superman with Patrick Mahomes, and you need that type of quarterback for the playoffs. So I'm nervous, but not overly concerned yet. I'm still sitting good with the Chiefs. I know you're not a huge fan of that statement there. I know you like Mahomes, but
No, I'm rolling with my homies. You know what I'm saying? But their defense is so freaking awful. It's so bad.
it's pretty bad.
They play our
Yeah,
Seahawks next weekend, and I don't see anybody. I know for a fact we're not stopping them, but I don't see them stopping us very much. I don't know. Their defense is just they're not. It's not like they have at least a strength. Like they shut down the run, just can't defend.
right.
They don't really do anything well.
Mm-mm.
You know what I
No.
mean? So maybe it doesn't matter. Maybe it does. All I know is if they win a Super Bowl, they're going to be winning games barely. Like they're going to go down to the wire because they can't stop. They're
Yeah.
not going to be just ever out. They have flaws. So,
They definitely
anyways,
have flaws.
good for you, Texans, playing hard. All right. This is our last wild ending, and then we're going to go over some bets, some games a little bit, and then we're getting into the playoff picture. The Bengals. I am telling everyone right now, I've said it before, watch out for these freaking Bengals. I know they just lost the Super Bowl, and I never think those kind of teams have a chance. They started out slow, but they're already over it. This team just knows how to win. They know how to make halftime adjustments. Done it before this year. They outscored the Buccaneers 31-6 in the second half to win 34-23. I know some of that was turnovers, which were helped because the Bengals are, forcing turnovers. Some were just the Bucs not knowing how to hand the ball off. But don't sleep on this Bengals team. I'm telling you, I don't whether the 1 seed, 3 seed, they don't care. They went on the road every game last year, right, to go to the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know. I just think first of all, the Bucs are just horrendous. They can be in the playoffs all they want. I don't care about Tom Brady in regards to is he good or not. I mean, their team is awful. I'm just gonna say their team is horrendous.
Yeah.
If you look at his stats, like 19th in quarterback rating and things like that, he's an average quarterback this year, and with a below average roster. That's what they are, and that's why they're 6-8 now. Like they're just not a good team. Ryan, Grandpa Goat, is he done? Not is he done? Is his team done? Is his team done?
The NFC, I will have to say this. I think they're done, yes, but the NFC, it doesn't have any strong quarterbacks really. Like what you got in the playoffs, Kirk Cousins, Hurts, Prescott, nobody's proved it. So
Stop it, Ryan. Their team is terrible.
Their team is too bad. You are correct with that. I wish their team was just a little bit better, because then I'd have more faith in Grandpa Goat in the playoffs against some of these below par quarterbacks. Dak Prescott and Jalen Hurts are not quite below par, but for playoff performance, yeah, Brock Purdy's going to be a starting quarterback in the playoffs. He's been showing some things, but him or Grandpa Goat in the playoffs, I don't know.
Right. I have a better chance of an Amazon box not showing up tomorrow, which is not always the case, or my little tiny children not whining tomorrow. That's a better chance than the Bucs have at winning a Super Bowl. They have no chance.
I honestly don't. I'm not even sure if they make the playoffs. To be quite frank with you, I mean I see another one of those teams.
But one team lost.
Yeah, so. I see someone else figuring a way to get in, and Brady not even getting a chance in the playoffs.
Oh, that would just break your heart, wouldn't it? Yeah. Anyways, those are just some of the wild endings. That week was just awesome. If you're watching the Witching Hour, if you're watching Red Zone or the games live, whatever it was, those were freaking awesome. And they were so crazy, and games are just getting so weird. The fact that we haven't had a losing week in a while, and when we did, it was just barely. I feel very thankful for that, because these kind of weeks can just really screw you up. So, with that, let's bring up the best bets recap page. Here we go. Don't mind the red. That's just for decoration. It's Christmas time. Green and red. We lost our bet of the month. It hurt me. It hurt me deep. Here's the problem. I misread the weather person. They said there was going to be freaking 6 inches of snow. When I turned the game on and I saw the first 2 drives in the green and I could see the field, I knew we were screwed. I just knew it. The defense sucked. They couldn't tackle. Anyways, lost the bet of the month. That was for 2 units. That one hurt us. Eagles team total over 29. They scored 25 against the Bears. They had 2 big interceptions. I mean, they could easily go for this. They just did not do it. So that's those ones. And then I had a push on the Titans +3. They were tied, and then that was a wild push. No win. Under 38 Ravens-Browns. I never thought an under 38 would be the easiest win of the weekend, but that game wasn't even threatening 38. And then the Saturday. If you're missing it, Saturday is when I give out a player props video on YouTube. It's about 3 minutes long, and on TikTok. You got to go check that out. We're on a roll on those. We won 3-4. Prescott over 253.5 passing yards. Mike Williams over 64.5 receiving yards hit. Tom Brady over 4.5 passing attempts. And then the only one we lost, Olave over 60.5 receiving yards. He had 53 in the third quarter, and then Andy Dalton was an idiot and never threw it to him again. He may have hit him one time, but they didn't connect. So primetime games. We already know we lost the Thursday night one. We just hit the Monday night. It has been a while since we hit a primetime bet. I got the monkey off my back with the Packers money line under 44. That was helpful. And there's our record, 5-4, down 0.57 units on the week. And for the year, 76 and 68, up over 14 units. Let's keep this rolling. I really want to get this to 20 before the playoffs start. And we got 3 weeks left. So that's our recap. Let's talk a little bit of Bills and Dolphins to start out. We're going to go through these pretty quick, and then we're going to talk playoff picture. Under 44.5. Like I said, this one sucked. I misread the weather report. But I also thought the defenses would do better. They scored under this last time. The divisional games, they know each other, but the defenses, they could not tackle. They could not do anything. They couldn't get pressure on the quarterback at all. It was ugly, but more importantly right now, the Dolphins have lost 3 in a row. I think they're all 3 road games. Are you worried about your Dolphins, Ryan, that you had so high up? By the way, you always ridicule me for my power rankings. Oh, look, you had the Rams early in the season. I didn't. I told you all this stuff about Vikings. You had the Dolphins, and you loved them. That was your team. That was your pick. They are threatening to miss the playoffs.
They're trying. They're trying really hard to miss the playoffs. But you know those Vikings. Those Vikings are still doing good, still winning games. No.
Oh my God, we didn't even talk about that game. Are you freaking kidding me? That was the wildest ending, the biggest comeback in NFL history, the Vikings over the Colts. Unbelievable. The Vikings are super lucky. I cannot believe it. I didn't even watch it. I was falling on my phone. I couldn't believe it. All right, that's all I got.
Yeah, no, the Dolphins, though, for real, they're struggling. Tua, I don't know if it's cold weather, things like that. I don't know if it's teams figuring out their offense, playing a little higher, making sure to come up, checking the receivers at the line of scrimmage. It's just, I don't know. Teams are figuring out the Dolphins and making it really tough for the offense and their defense. It looked like they were doing good. I think they just peaked maybe a little too soon, and now they're struggling again, especially this last game. The tackling was a major issue, like you said. It just seemed like anytime somebody touched the ball, they're breaking 1, 2, something like that for tackles and just making yards, scoring points. It was a brutal one to watch.
Yeah, this team relies on their offense. That's how they do. So if their offense slows down a little bit, they become just an above-average team. They need their offense to get going. I heard something about, like you said, defenses are starting to press the receivers more, really play the middle of the field because that's where they hit a lot of their passes. I think people are making adjustments. And Mike McDaniels is a first-year head coach.
Yep.
So I freaking love him, by the way. He's like one of my favorite coaches. I love watching videos of him talking. He's just he doesn't even look like a coach. And how he talks, he's just hilarious. I love him. Anyways, Bills Dolphins wasn't even close to under 44.5. I knew in the second quarter it wasn't going to hit just based on how the game was going. So Dolphins better get it together, and we'll talk about that in a little bit on the playoff picture. Good win for the Bills, still the number 1 seed right now. That's first game. Second game, Eagles Bears. Boring. Jalen Hurts threw 2 picks, and they out-yarded them 421 to 248. I mean, the game, because of turnovers, they kept the Bears in it, and they were in this game. But the Eagles they got the win. They got the road divisional win. They didn't play their best game, but a win is a win. So we just lost the team total over 29. Philly. Also, Jalen Hurts is hurt. Jalen is Hurts. How do you say that? Jalen Hurts is Hurts. Anyways,
I think that
he's hurt. And he might be out next week, so I don't know how I'm doing my fantasy team. I know you guys all care really highly about that. Just beat my uncle to go to the semis. But anyways, I don't know what's going to happen. Jalen, if I were them, I'd make sure he's completely healthy for the playoffs because they got a couple game lead on the number 1 seed. So anyways, anything to say about that, Ryan, that game or your Eagles?
I think the bye is important, so you got to get the bye. So you got to be number 1, and the Vikings will be pushing them the entire way potentially. So good thing the Eagles have the win over the Vikings. So if they tie in the record, they're fine and still get it. As far as that game goes, brutal interceptions. Hurts had 3 rushing touchdowns, so that helps. Thought I had a chance, but obviously I didn't, and just very upsetting to see both my picks, my best bet, and that one, 2 Reds, not good. Don't like it. Was pretty upset. But Fields played well enough for me to win in my fantasy playoffs, and he's still not hurt, so I'm good.
Good for you. Could you freaking win some bets now?
I
Pick
will.
your shit up.
Will
Thank
do.
you. All right,
Yep.
here we go. All right, next bet. You only bet one, really. I mean, we had a joint, so you bet 1.5.
Yeah. It
That
still
was
feels
a
bad.
hard week. I
Yep.
didn't like the week. I hated the week schedule. There's a lot of divisional games coming up, and those are just tough to bet.
That's why think the under, and
Yeah.
didn't work that way, and I went over on one. That didn't work either. Like, frustrating.
Is there a middle? Can you bet the middle?
Oh, I think that would be
Like right on the point spread. Yeah, I want to bet exactly on the.
I think those odds would be a bit high. That's a bit
Pretty
gutsy.
good, yeah. All right, next one, real quick. Titans +3. It was a push at the Chargers. Low scoring game. If you think about it, this is how weird football is. The Titans run the ball well. The Chargers can't stop it, right? So their offense should have dominated. Henry had over 100 yards, but they didn't move it. The Chargers passed the ball well and more than anybody in the league the last 3 games, 70-something% of the time. And the Titans suck at pass defense. So you're thinking every offense is a strength versus the defense is a weakness. And the game ends 17-14. Like, football is freaking hard to predict, hard to bet. It's just bizarre. But huge loss by the Titans and a huge win by the Chargers because this is the only hard team they had left. So 48 seconds left, tie game, and Herbert takes his team down the field, hits Mike Williams to win my bet. That was beautiful. I like to make it a little sweaty sometimes. In 40 seconds, goes down the field, kick a game-winning field goal. Just huge. The Titans are terrible on offense, passing the ball. They need Treylon Burks, their rookie. They need him back. And he should be back next week. But that was a push. Yeah, anything about this, Ryan? That was just a big win. It was a big playoff game in general.
Herbert's finding ways, keeping that team. I thought the Chargers were done midway through the season. I think we talked about it one time, and I was like, don't panic for the future, but panic right now. Like, they were struggling, injuries, and they just found ways. I think they got a little bit of luck with some teams, had chances to win. Dolphins, things like that, Patriots, things like that could have easily won a few games. Were knuckleheads and didn't, and so it gave them life, and now they're right here fighting, right in it.
Yeah,
didn't see it coming.
They are well, that's for sure. You got to get hot at the end. Other than that, that's kind of the game. I mean, there's the under 38 I won. We don't need to talk about it, guys. Deshaun Watson sucks. They scored 2 offensive touchdowns in 3 games with Deshaun Watson at quarterback. That's horrendous. The whole game, bad weather. Ravens can't score to save their lives anymore. But they're an under machine. That's beautiful. Thank you, Ravens.
I think
they didn't let us down, right?
They didn't let us down. You're right. I think for the Ravens, though, like, I was thinking this injury was going to be terrible for Lamar Jackson, like, as far as like his financial and his holdout type of situation.
Yeah.
But I think this just might prove more how much the Ravens rely on him and how much they need him. And that means a bigger payday potentially for Lamar Jackson, as long as he can show.
I completely agree with you, but I also want to point out they were not exactly dominating offensively when he was in the last 3 games. But no, you're right, though. Yeah, it's better than that. No, it helps. Yeah, that could have, because if Huntley came in and did just as well as Jackson, they'd be like, why would we pay a guy $40 million? You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah. That should be interesting. Anyways, other than that, those player props already mentioned. Quick, over 253.5. He had 256. Nailed it. Mike Williams over 64.5 receiving. 67. Nailed it. Brady over 40.5 pass attempts. He was under going to the last drive and 44. Easy. And then Olave over 60.5, and he had 50 after 3 quarters and couldn't get me one more catch. What I'm trying to say is the odds makers know what the frick they're doing. And I don't know how. But all these ended right around it. Luckily, I was on the good end of 3 of those 4, so that helped. All right. Playoff picture. Are we ready? Let's start out with the AFC. Let's bring that up. There we go.
There it is.
Bills, number 1 still. They're in a tie with the Chiefs, but have the tiebreaker, obviously. The Bengals overtook the Ravens in the division of the 3 seed. The dominating AFC South leader, the Titans, are the 4 seed. And then we got Ravens, who are fading fast, but should be able to hold on to a 2-game lead with 3 to go. And then there you go. The Chargers and Dolphins at 8 and 6. There's no ties right now with teams in the hunt and teams in the playoffs, but the Patriots with that horrendous lateral loss, 7-7 now. The Jets 7-7. We didn't even talk about that. That was a huge win by the Lions. those are the games the Lions lose, and they found a way to win against a good defense outside in the cold. 2017, Saleh made some interesting decisions with his timeouts at the end of the game, but good win by the Lions. That killed the Jets right there. That did not help. So, and there we go. And look who's alive: the Jacksonville Jaguars. And they're not. And you look, they're not just 2 games back of the Dolphins. They're 1 game back of the division, the Titans. That's it. That's what they're going for. They don't care about the wild card right now. They want that division. Raiders, I don't even know how they're still alive, but they are. The Browns are still alive. Oh my God, those 3 teams on the bottom are horrendous. There's no way they're making. So let's just cross off the bottom 3, and we got a battle between the Patriots, Jets, and Jags, really. So, if the Chiefs lose 1 more game and the Bengals win out, the Bengals, I believe, will get the 1 because they would own the 3-way tiebreaker over the Bills and Chiefs. That's what I think we found out, right, Ryan? Okay. So,
yeah.
That's where we're at with that. I just think those teams, the Bills, Chiefs, and Bengals, they're all the same to me. I don't think people are putting the Bengals high enough. Other than that, the Chargers are dangerous. I don't see any other teams that are dangerous in the AFC other than those. Yeah. So what do you think about this, Ryan?
Yeah, I think the Titans are struggling. I think the Jags get in. The Titans have not won many games late. I don't know exactly, but it's bad. It's like 1 in 6 or something. I want to say off the top of my head. They're pretty bad down the stretch here. And Jags, with Trevor Lawrence getting hot, showing that they have some stuff. Do you think the Bengals are going to jump and get that 1 seed? Do you see the Chiefs losing 1 more and the Bengals kind of winning out and
No.
doing
So
what they need to do?
talk. Let's talk for a bit. Thanks for asking. Let's talk. So we have the Chiefs. Their last 3 games are these. They have the Hawks, Broncos, and the Raiders. They're not losing to the Seahawks. We know that.
Yeah.
They're not losing to the Broncos. They're not losing to the Raiders. Like, there's just no way they're losing any of those. The Raiders might give them fits, but that's really it. So, other than that, the Bills, if we go just kind of remaining schedule games, they play the Bears, Bengals, and Patriots. They're not going to, that Bengals game is huge. That's really the game right there. So, they should easily win the other 2. So I think that's the big one for them. And the Bengals finish with the Patriots, Bills, and Ravens. It's all about that Bills game, really, in my opinion.
Bills game and the Chiefs losing. The Chiefs got to get a fight.
Yeah.
The Bengals need the Chiefs to lose somewhere. Yeah.
I think the best chance might be the Seahawks. I don't know, maybe the Raiders. because they. So I'm not sure. Yeah. That's where we're at. So other than that, I don't. Here, just a little probability. Let's go there. Titans 65% chance to make the playoffs. Ravens 95%, but they suck. Chargers 79%. And Dolphins 69% chance to make the playoffs. Patriots in the hunt 22%. Jets 25%. The Jets, I don't know. They're gonna be tough to make it because they got a tough schedule. I know they play the Dolphins already, so that alone is not going to be easy. Also, I just think I don't have the Jaguars' remaining schedule up if they can catch the Titans or not. But I think they got a chance.
I don't think it matters. I think the Titans are just struggling so much that they just.
You think they're going to lose out?
I just think I can see them losing out. I don't even know if it matters who they're playing right now, honestly. Like,
well, let me tell you who they're going to play. Ready?
Is struggling. Ryan Tannehill is really struggling. Like, they got to fix it.
The Titans play the Texans next week. That's not an easy win anymore. They're playing hard against teams. Then they play the Cowboys, which is not going to be an easy win. They're probably not going to win that. And then they play at Jags to end the year.
See? That's what I'm saying.
Oh, baby. And guess what? The Jags already beat them once. Mm-hmm. Guess who controls their own destiny? The Jacksonville Jaguars for the division. Would you like to see who the Jaguars play?
Sure. Let's hear it.
Okay, here we go.
This should be a good one.
At the Jets. So the Jets play the Jags and the Dolphins
big games.
By the way. That's a huge game. I don't know who's going to win the game. And then at the Texans, man, they have a lot of chances to play spoiler those times. And then the Titans at the end. So, man, I don't know.
They go 2-3 and beat the Titans. I think they're in. 2-3 and beat the Tennessee Titans. They're in.
Well, there's 3 games. 2-1. You mean?
Yeah, 2-1. I meant 2 of. Yeah, my bad. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 of 3. Yeah, I could see it. But right now, like you said, the Titans can lose to anybody. They're just not playing good football.
No.
So, yeah, that's the AFC. If I had to predict right now, because we're going to do that every week, right? Oh, by the way, the Chargers, we've already talked about this. Their schedule's horrendous. Here's the last 3 games. Colts, Rams, and Broncos. 3 of the bottom 5 worst teams right now, probably. And by the way, they play the Colts next week. There's no way the Colts come back from what just happened against that. There's just no freaking way. So they should win out.
They get the 5 seed and play a 4 seed in Jacksonville or Tennessee Titans. That's the sweet spot. That's where you want to be.
Well, they're 1 game back of the 5 seed right now, the Ravens.
Yeah.
And the Ravens finish with the Falcons, Steelers, and Bengals. So I don't know who has the tiebreaker on the Chargers Ravens, but the 5 seed is where you want to be in both conferences.
Yes, big time.
Both. I mean, if you're not going to win your division. So, anyways, that's where we're at. I see the Chargers, and I wouldn't be surprised if these Jags take over the division over the Titans. And then we can talk about how Ryan's Titans struggled and didn't make the playoffs too. Right, Ryan? It's not just me, okay? Your team's horrendous.
Yeah.
Mine was the Colts at the beginning of the division.
Yeah,
so
what are we talking about? My Titans.
The Jets are going to be in trouble. They needed that game. The Jets did. So
yeah, they did.
I don't see any in the hunt teams making it in. It's just a matter of seeding to me. So
I think you're right. Yeah.
Yep. All right, let's go to the NFC. Let's bring that up.
Here it is.
All right. Eagles 13-1. All right, we got the Vikings, 49ers, and Buccaneers are even worse than the Titans record-wise. And then we go Cowboys, Giants, and Commanders. The Giants just took over the Commanders with that brutal ending and that win.
Terrible.
It's still a good win by the Giants, just so I don't want to take that away from them. They were up by 8 with left. They took it. You know what I mean? And then we got in the hunt our Seattle Seahawks.
Do we even have to say they're in the hunt? Like, seriously? They're not in no hunt. Like, come on.
They're hunting for a good defense.
Yeah.
And then my also Detroit Lions. Those are my teams right there, Seahawks and Lions. And then let's see, Packers don't have a chance. 11, 12, and 13. Yes, you're reading that right. They're all from the same freaking division. And they all have a chance, and they're all 1 game back. All freaking 1 game back of the Bucs. Don't ask me who has the division the tiebreaker if like 3 or 4 of them tie. I have no freaking clue, and I don't care because they're all losing in the first. So it doesn't matter. Ryan, what do you think about this conference? You think any of the in the hunt teams are going to make it in?
Oh yeah, I think the Lions make it in, and the Giants, like I said a while ago, they'll be out. They got a harder schedule. I think the Commanders are still playing a little bit better football. It's just a disappointing loss. I like how Taylor Heineke plays. He just made some bad decisions, tried to scramble, fumbled here and there, threw bad balls, but it's just I still think the Giants with their schedule, I think they're out. Lions are in, Commanders are in. Because I don't see the Seahawks. If the Packers make it in, oh my gosh. Oh, I do not want to see the Packers in this at all. Please no.
No, not at all. Let's talk real quick. The Seahawks play the Chiefs next week in Kansas City. That should be an absolute just slugfest of offenses, but the Chiefs should kill us. It's a 9-point spread already in that one. And then the Seahawks play the Jets and then the Rams. And you think, oh, the Rams are a gimme. They're not against the Seahawks at all. So we're going to go like, what do you think? 1 and 2 to finish probably? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
We might be able to beat the Jets. Maybe. It's at home. And then the Lions. Panthers, Bears, Packers. The Lions could finish this season at 10-7. They are playing as good as anybody. They've won, 7 of 8, is it? Or something like that. And the one loss was the Bills at Thanksgiving, and they're right there at the end. The Lions are a legitimate football team. You do not want them right now. If they get let's just say the Lions get the 7 seed, and we go Vikings-Lions in the first round. Your Vikings might not even win a freaking playoff game. I'm not even gonna lie. But with those schedules, the Packers play the Dolphins, Vikings, and Lions. Those are 3 hard teams, and the Packers suck. They're not going anywhere. But I don't even want to talk about the NFC South. Do I have to? I don't want to. Panthers, Falcons, Saints, they all play games against 3 other teams. And they play against each other a lot.
I don't want to talk about it because no one wants to win it. None of them. They're like, I don't want to win.
And Desmond Ridder did not look good for the Falcons either. No. And I think on the last play of the game, he ran out of bounds. Did I see that right? Anyways, I don't know. But I just see the Lions making it. I don't know. The Giants play at Minnesota against the Colts and Philly. They have a decent path because Philly's probably not going to be playing
You're
starters, or
right.
maybe they will. Maybe I don't know.
Yep. You could be
Because they
right.
have a bye. Also, do you really want to sit starters 2 weeks in a row? You know what I mean?
That's true. You don't want to get super.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.
Yeah.
I've seen it go both ways.
Yep, definitely. And the Commanders play at San Fran. That's probably a loss. Versus the Browns, probably a win. And then versus the Cowboys, we'll see what that ends. So, it's still up in the air. But I really do think it's the Lions, Commanders, and Giants. The Seahawks with the very outside chance. So that's where we sit. And in regards to dangerous teams and who can win the Super Bowl, in the AFC I mentioned to you is the Bills, Bengals, and probably the Chiefs. There's only 2 teams in this conference that have a chance. It's the Eagles and Niners. Those are the only 2 true Super Bowl contenders that I see. Giants and Commanders, we can throw them out. We can throw everybody else except, maybe the Lions. Right? No? Is that too much?
So you skipped the 2 seed and went all the way to the 9 seed? They're not even in.
The 2 seed sucks. You think the 2 seed can win games in the playoffs 3 or 4 in a row? Come on. That's a joke. The Vikings could be 3-11 right now. That seems like. No, they're toast. The 49ers are one of the complete teams right now. They keep losing guys, and it keeps not mattering. That didn't make sense. Keeps not mattering, but I was trying to make a point. Anyways, the Buccaneers suck. There's only a couple teams. Do you disagree? Is it more? Is there more than that?
I don't
that have a
disagree.
chance to win
No. You know how cool? Okay, I'd be really happy if your Lions, yes, I said it, your Lions found a way to get to the Super Bowl. Oh man, that would just be sweet. And then
just
that
to
whole
make the playoffs first. I mean,
I think they get in and then make a run and get into the Super Bowl. Oh man, that would be great. And then Jared Goff would be able to rub it into the Rams' faces, like they gave up all that stuff to get Stafford, and yeah, he got them to their one. No.
Ryan, they won a Super Bowl already. They have the ring. If the trade was worth it, they have the ring. That's all you need.
Worth it? They're terrible right now. Terrible.
They're all hurt.
Terrible.
They're all hurt, and they just have a ring. They had a ring. They don't care. They don't care. I would trade all the draft picks for a ring. I'd do it all right now. Sign me up. Thank you. Anyways, the Seahawks do have the tiebreaker over the Lions. Do not forget that. We beat them. Remember, I mentioned it was like 80-78, I think.
If we were just playing like a little bit better, football.
Yeah.
Huge story.
So if the Seahawks go 2-1, let's say they can figure out a way to beat the Jets and Rams. That's like 9-8. I don't know if that has a chance.
I don't know. I don't know. Those ties between the Giants and Commanders are really messing things up.
I know. They're throwing me off.
Yeah.
The Lions, though, I don't see them losing out unless they lose to Green Bay in Green Bay in the end of the year. I don't see them losing out. So that's the playoff picture. Cowboys are struggling. Bucks are useless. Vikings are fraudulent. Eagles and Niners are it. That's it. That's how I eliminated everybody. I just come up with a name for everybody. Giants are lucky. So that's where we're at. It's Eagles, Niners, Bills, Chiefs, and Bengals for me. Those are the 5 teams. I would bet the house on one of those 5 teams winning the Super Bowl, which isn't like out on a limb. But I mean, by the way, don't bet your house.
I was just gonna say,
don't bet anything that big. Just to be clear, I'm just saying,
stay within your means.
Yes,
keep with your units.
Only bet money you can afford to lose. We'll do the whole video soon about how to bet. I'm just saying, just speaking about how confident I am. I don't see any other team winning except. So, anyways, that's where we're at. In the AFC right now, by the way, we would have a Dolphins and Chiefs first round matchup. Is there anybody that played for both of those teams? Is there a guy named Tyreek Hill? Yeah, that would be interesting, wouldn't it? That would be very interesting.
That would be talked about the entire time. Man, what a lead up that would be. Whew, that'd be fun.
That would be fun.
Especially with all the jabs Tyreek has thrown back at Patrick Mahomes and saying Tua's better, saying this and that, and anybody can throw me the ball. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Didn't he say Tua's the better quarterback? He's the best quarterback he's ever played for or something?
More accurate.
What an idiot.
More accuracy or something like that.
What an idiot. No, what an idiot. Don't ever talk about Mahomes like that. All right. That's week 15. That's it. Pretty simple, huh? Pretty easy. That was wild. 3 weeks left in this season, and then we break down the playoffs. Every single game, every single play matters right now in the NFL for a lot of these teams. This is crunch time. Every game's a playoff game. This is freaking fun to watch. This is what we want to see. We're all done. Other than that, I got nothing except for remember there's only a few games on Sunday next weekend. Get your bets in before Saturday. Mm-hmm. We have our best bets video coming out Friday morning again, like always. And NBA is crushing it, guys. It is crushing it. We are 37-22, I believe. It has been so much fun on TikTok. If you want to talk and ask questions or follow along or tell me your bets, there is a ton of people doing it. That has blown up. I don't know how it got over 3,000 subscribers or followers. It happened like overnight, it felt like. Thank you so much. It's been a lot of fun. So follow along on that. Other than that, that's all I got. There's a Thursday night game coming up. It's Jaguars at Jets. Jets
Huge.
-1. That's a heck of a game.
Yep.
Two teams fighting for their lives. I think that goes down to the wire. So I'll probably have a bet out for that. And that's all I got. Ryan, you got anything else to finish off this week?
Just gotta make sure to set those fancy lineups. Playoffs right here, right now. Get it in. You don't want to be the guy going, or the girl going, oh man, why did I not look at the injuries? Why did I not look up matchups? What did I do? Why is this person not starting? Get in there, set your lineups, be ready.
Yep. And also, if you're doing player props, when they come out, it's usually Thursday or Friday. Make sure you try to get them as soon as you can if there's a line you like. Because, like I mentioned, there's some lines that move 3, 4, 5 yards. Can make a difference between a win. So check that out. We are done. Thanks for listening again. I can't believe we hit 200 subscribers already. It's freaking awesome. So cool. So thanks again. We will talk to you soon.